A simple request, one that might take minutes in a small team, can often take weeks in a large company as it passes through layers of formal approval. This friction is a common experience, but it is not a design flaw. It is the direct result of a system intentionally built to manage the challenges of operating at scale.
This difference in speed stems from two fundamentally distinct operating models. To understand why large organizations are structured the way they are, we must first examine how small teams function.
We begin with the judgment-driven team. In a small group, the operational model is typically based on the individual judgment of its members.
Within a small team, decisions can be made quickly. This is because individuals rely on their own expertise and have high levels of trust in their colleagues, creating a system that is both informal and adaptable.
A critical component of this model is shared context. When everyone has a similar understanding of the goals and the current situation, coordination becomes almost intuitive. This allows problems to be solved flexibly without needing rigid, predefined instructions.
However, this informal, judgment-based system begins to break down as an organization grows.
As more people join, the number of tasks, projects, and communication pathways multiplies. That shared context begins to erode, and as a result, informal coordination becomes unreliable.
This increase in scale introduces significant challenges. Without a shared baseline, outcomes can become inconsistent, work done in one part of the organization may not align with work done in another, and the risk of miscommunication and critical errors grows substantially.
In response to these pressures, large organizations begin to develop formal systems. This shift is not a sign of failure, it is a rational adaptation designed to manage complexity.
This leads to the emergence of what we call bureaucracy. Now, while that term is often used with negative connotations, it is technically a neutral descriptor. It simply refers to the administrative system used to govern any large institution, whether it is a corporation or a government. The sociologist Max Weber identified several core features of this system. A clear hierarchy defines everyone's roles. Impersonality ensures that rules, not arbitrary actions, guide decisions. Expertise is valued, with officials chosen based on merit. And finally, continuity provides a stable, long-term structure. A primary tool of this bureaucratic system is the Standard Operating Procedure, or SOP. An SOP is a set of detailed, written instructions created to help people perform specific tasks in a consistent and repeatable way.
What an SOP does is break down a complex operation into simple, repeatable steps. The purpose is to ensure that a task is performed the same way every time, regardless of who's doing it. This, in turn, reduces variability and the potential for error.
Underpinning all of these processes is a drive toward what is known as formalization. In fields like computer science, this means using mathematically rigorous techniques to specify and verify systems. The ultimate goal is to remove all ambiguity, which contributes to the reliability and robustness of a system's design.
And so, the fundamental purpose of this shift from individual judgment to formal process is to make an organization's outcomes predictable and controllable. By standardizing actions, the organization aims to achieve several specific goals: greater efficiency at scale, consistent quality in its output, uniform performance across different teams, and a significant reduction in miscommunication. This reflects a critical shift in objectives. A judgment-driven approach is often seeking the most optimal or creative solution for a specific, unique problem. In contrast, a process-driven system seeks a consistent and safe solution that works reliably across all similar situations.
By relying on impersonal rules rather than individual discretion, the system also aims for fairness. This approach is specifically designed to reduce the impact that personal bias, favoritism, or simple human error can have on outcomes.
This shift from judgment to process, however, introduces a fundamental trade-off. It is a trade-off between control and adaptability.
And while Max Weber saw bureaucracy as the most efficient way to organize, he also recognized its potential downside. He warned that an over-reliance on rules could stifle individual freedom and creativity, potentially trapping people in what he famously called an iron cage of rational control.
This represents the core exchange at the heart of the system. To gain predictability, fairness, and reduced risk at scale, the organization sacrifices the flexibility, speed, and individual discretion that characterize smaller, judgment-driven teams.
And this presents the constant challenge for any large organization.
how to balance the need for consistent, fair rules against the need for people to have the freedom to handle unique situations that those rules did not and could not anticipate.
The slowness and rigidity often observed in large companies can therefore be understood not as flaws, but as the intended consequences of a system that has been designed for a very specific purpose.
That purpose is to manage the enormous risks that come with complexity and scale. To do this, the system trades individual autonomy for systemic predictability.